Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to dive deep into the opening day box office for Kuberaa.
Yeah, the new one with Dhanush, Nagarjuna, and Rashmika Mandanna. Big cast.
Exactly. And there are some, well, surprising comparisons to make, and it kind of fits into what's looking like a really challenging year for the industry overall.
It's always interesting, isn't it, how that first day sort of sets the tone and, expectations versus reality.
Uh-huh.
All our insights today, just so you know, are coming straight from a pretty detailed piece by the Indian Express Entertainment Desk. So, solid info.
Great. Yeah, our mission here is really to, cut through the hype a bit, understand what happened with Kuberaa's pan-India release.
Where did it hit? Where did it miss?
Right. What does its performance actually tell us about, like, the South Indian film scene right now? It's more than just the numbers. It's the context, the expectations.
And how unpredictable this whole box office game can be, especially now with multi-language releases. And the source kicks off by saying, look, Kuberaa made a, quote, notable impact. So it wasn't a flop on day one.
Not at all. But, and here's the catch, its performance was also slightly lower than expected.
Yeah, that phrase always catches my eye. Lower than expected. Expected by whom, right?
Huh, true. But it sets up the core number, which is still pretty impressive on its own.
What did it pull in?
Ours, 13 crore on day one. And just for context, a crore is 10 million rupees, so 130 million rupees.
Okay, 13 crore. That sounds significant.
It is, but then you start comparing and things get interesting.
Right, because the source immediately puts it next to Kamal Haasan's Thug Life.
Yeah.
Highly hyped film.
Very hyped.
And Thug Life opened bigger, right?
Yeah.
Around ours 15 crore.
Yeah, so Kuberaa came in a bit under that, which makes you think about that pre-release buzz versus, well, actual bums on seats day one.
Definitely. And it wasn't just Thug Life.
No, it also opened slightly lower than Dhanush's last Tamil film, Raayan.
Oh, interesting. How much did Raayan make?
About our 16 crore on its opening day. So, 16, then 15 for Thug Life, now 13 for Kuberaa.
It does highlight an interesting little trend there for Dhanush, doesn't it? Or maybe just for these specific projects.
What do you think that suggests? Is it about the star or the film itself?
I think it's less about Dhanush's overall star power.
Yeah.
He's massive, obviously.
Yeah.
It's probably more about how each specific film connects, the genre, the buzz, which language market it's really targeting first.
Right. Maybe the immediate audience alignment was just different for this one.
Could be. It suggests that even for huge stars, that opening day number can really fluctuate.
Okay, so given that context, where did the audience actually come from for Kuberaa? It was shot in Telugu and Tamil.
Simultaneously, yeah. And then dubbed into Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, standard pan-India strategy these days.
So they were aiming wide.
They were, but the data shows a very clear picture for day one. Telugu-speaking regions, they absolutely led the charge.
Okay, how strong was it there?
Really strong. An overall occupancy of 57.36% in the Telugu market. That's impressive. Shows it really landed with that core audience.
Wow. And the source breaks down how that built through the day, too, right?
Yeah, it's quite fascinating. Morning shows were okay, like modest, 38.94%.
Decent start.
But then it picked up. Afternoon shows hit 54.58%. Evening shows, 57.04%.
Steady climb.
But here's the kicker, the aha moment, as the outline called it. Night shows peaked at a huge 78.87%.
Whoa. Nearly 80% occupancy in the night shows.
That tells you something.
It tells you people were hearing good things during the day and deciding to go, right, that sounds like positive word of mouth kicking in almost immediately.
Exactly. That night show surge is often the best early sign. It's not just pre-booking, it's people deciding that day. It suggests the film might have legs if that buzz continues.
Okay, so Telugu was the clear winner. What about the other languages?
Well, that's where the picture gets less rosy. It was a relatively low occupancy elsewhere.
Like Tamil Nadu, even though it was shot in Tamil too.
Yep. Tamil Nadu only saw 33.73% occupancy, considerably lower than the Telugu market.
And the dubbed versions?
Even lower. Karnataka was just 6.54%, and Hindi, only 6.73%.
Oof, that's stark. Really highlights the challenge of a true pan-India hit on day one, doesn't it? Massive regional differences.
It absolutely does. But interestingly, despite these mixed numbers,
Yeah.
industry analysts are apparently still optimistic. They think Kuberaa could still benefit from positive word of mouth, build momentum over the weekend.
So they're banking on that night show trend continuing and spreading.
Seems like it. Which kind of points to a bigger picture, this whole reliance on organic buzz.
It really does, because this year, well, it's been a real mixed bag, as the source puts it, for both Telugu and Tamil films.
Definitely provides important context for Kubeera's 13 crore opening.
For sure. Like, look at Telugu. Ram Charan's Game Changer. Huge hype, directed by Shankar.
Massive budget.
Huge budget, opened big, Rs 51 crore, but finished around Rs 131 crore total. Against that massive budget, maybe not the huge return they hoped for.
Right. It's hard to convert those big openings sometimes. What else?
Balakrishna's Daku Maharaj opened at Rs 25 crore, ended up making about Rs 90 crore domestically. Solid, but maybe not earth-shattering.
Okay.
And Nani's HIT, the third case, Rs 21 crore opening, finished around Rs 80 crore. Again, good numbers, but illustrates the challenge of getting those truly massive totals.
It does seem tougher these days. What about the Tamil examples?
Well, Arjit's Good, Bad, Ugly did pretty well. Opened at Rs 29 crore, made over Rs 153 crore. That's a solid run.
That sounds pretty good.
But then let's go back to Thug Life. We mentioned it opened higher than Kuberaa, around Rs 15 crore.
Yeah.
The really interesting detail is that, according to the source, it's yet to cross Rs 50 crore after 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay, so a stronger opening didn't translate into sustained success there.
Exactly. Which makes Kubeera's slightly lower opening but potential word-of-mouth strategy perhaps more viable in the long run. Or maybe not. It's just complicated.
It really is. The old rules don't seem to apply as neatly anymore. Which brings us to, what else is driving interest in Kuberaa? Beyond just the opening numbers.
Yeah, good question. Because a lot of the buzz, the qualitative stuff, seems to be around Dhanush's performance.
Ah, right. He plays a beggar, is that it?
Yeah, it's described as a rag-to-riches drama, and his portrayal is apparently getting a lot of praise on social media. People calling it raw, emotional.
That kind of transformative performance can definitely generate buzz that numbers alone don't capture.
Totally. And it's not just him. The source says fans are also praising Rashmika Mandanna and Nagarjuna.
For what specifically?
For choosing, quote, unconventional, meaningful roles. So it suggests the casting wasn't just about star power, but maybe about the substance of the roles, too.
That's interesting. People appreciating the choices.
Yeah. And apparently just having those 3 stars together was a big part of the pre-release hype anyway.
That makes sense. The combination itself is intriguing.
And there's this one little anecdote, kind of humanizes all the data. Dhanush apparently watched the film on opening day with his son, Linga, and he was seen getting visibly moved by how the crowd was reacting.
Oh, that's quite touching, actually. A reminder that behind all the box office analysis, it's still about connecting with an audience.
Exactly, that emotional core.
Right. So let's just quickly recap what we've dug into here about Kubeera's start.
Okay.
Notable opening, Rs 13 crore. But, varied compared to some others and definitely lower than hoped for outside the Telugu market.
Big time. A real regional split.
Yeah. And all this is happening within a pretty challenging, unpredictable year for South Indian films generally.
Definitely sets the stage. Which leads us nicely into our final kind of provocative thought for you, the listener.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So if all that analyst optimism is really riding on positive word of mouth, how much can critical praise, like for Dhanush's performance, actually make up for a mixed opening day and those big regional gaps?
Especially when you compare to something like Thug Life, which opened higher but then seemed to fizzle out quickly.
Exactly. What does this whole situation tell us about what really drives long-term success today? Is it the opening splash, the star power, the critical acclaim, the story connecting region by region?
Or some complex mix of all of the above.
Yeah. What are the true drivers in this multi-language market now? Something to chew on.